That's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
As the global economic calamity continues following the fallout of this pandemic, we're seeing so many businesses shut down as countries and states and counties and towns go into close to full lockdown all over the world. The comic book industry, the mainstream comic book industry, has been especially hard hit. There's just been so much news. It's been coming out every day. I haven't had a chance to do a video on any of it just because it's all been coming out rapid fire. It started with Damond saying that they were shutting down their business temporarily. That had a cascade effect on the publishers. A lot of the stores had already closed down in terms of their brick and mortar place. If they don't have a mailing order system or an internet shop, then they're pretty much dead in the water as it is. Then came the infamous pencils down emails to a lot of people working in the industry. It's just not feasible that a lot of these smaller publishers continue doing business in this climate. And it was amazing to be on Twitter to see so many people losing their minds, flipping out, getting really aggressive and angry with fans, and people like Gal Simone pretending the industry is just on some sort of 2-week vacation and that it would all go back to normal in short order. It's just been surreal watching her and so many like her use this opportunity to dunk on Comicsgate, as if we're the ones who are really suffering right now. The comic book stores, so many of them, they're not going to reopen ever again. They're gone. And just now we learned that Damond isn't going to pay its vendors, so the publishers of the books and anyone else who uses their distribution network. This is it. This is game over. I really expect this sort of gleeful, surreal, bizarre tone that a lot of the pros have been displaying on Twitter to change, although maybe it won't. They live in some kind of alternate reality where everything is fine in their industry, and it's the people who saw the writing on the wall years ago and have been setting up alternative ways to distribute comic books for years now, and they're pretending like we're the ones who are in trouble and we're the ones who are freaking out and running around like headless chickens. It's so weird. Guys like Peter Simeti are getting dunked on right now by people who are gonna have to be going out looking for work. It's just bizarre. He recently, it's pretty big news, another big event that came out. He recently pretty much just admitted that he is aligned with part of Comicsgate. And of course that pissed off a lot of people. But along with him, Allegiance and Comicsgate and any other independents who have been working hard over the last few years to build up their own networks, what else is there out there for people who still want to read new comics? I think DC does have an online store and they're talking about going digital. But again, if that all does go ahead and they really do start putting out new issues digitally, well then that's double dead for the direct market. That will end it. The shops, well, they're not going to deal with that. They're already struggling. It's not just comic book shops, it's healthy industries that were booming a couple of weeks ago are now finding themselves struggling. So imagine how crazily the comic industry is being ravaged right now. You know, when you're that weak to begin with, and this thing just steamrolled over everything, it was just inevitable. But going back to what I just said, Allegiance. So in case you don't know, at the very kind of birth of Comicsgate crowdfunding projects, there was Zach's Jawbreakers, Ethan's Cyberfrog, Doug to Naples, Bigfoot Bill, there was Mike Miller's Lone Star, and there was Mitch Brightwise's Red Rooster. And there's a lot of controversy surrounding that because Red Rooster still hasn't been released, and you know that's a serious issue, and you know he's addressed why that has happened. He has somewhat of an excuse. It is still coming out. Everyone who backed it did get a digital preview, but yeah, we don't have the book in our hands. But what we do have is Allegiance, a company that is distributing both online and to Walmart, have released their first offering, and it's 3 books, and I've got them right here. So these are the 3 books that came out in the first offering from Allegiance. Nora's Saga, The Futurists, and Bass Reeves. And I read them all last night. Bass Reeves was my least favorite. They're all great books. It was my least favorite to read simply because of the genre. The art is fine. It's not really the style that I'm into, but if you're into this style, then yeah, it's really good. The coloring is excellent. I believe the coloring is by Kelsey Shannon. That's why it's so excellent. The writing is good. It's just not my kind of story. It's sort of a Western martial thing. I like this in a movie, not so much. I don't really read comic books about this kind of thing, but if this is your thing, it's still a good book. Nora's Saga is by Blake Northcott and art by Kelsey Shannon. It reminds me a bit of the direction that we see web comics heading in. It's sort of it's focused on a young girl. There's supernatural themes to it. It's written in a way that appeals to younger people, I'd say. It's just the style of the writing, the style of the dialogue, and the kind of story. It's a story about a girl who has lost her mum. She's in a strange new school, in a strange new place, and she's not loving it. And the whole time it's sort of interwoven with old Viking history. And yeah, she gets into another accident and finds herself in the past, I'm guessing, in with the old Vikings that lived in Canada. So yeah, if that sounds like the story for you, you should definitely look into this. The art is fantastic, as you would expect from Kelsey Shannon. And if that sounds like your story, it's, like I said, a bit of a younger audience, but yeah, that's definitely still a recommend from me. I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I'll be continuing reading it though, because I just don't think it was my kind of story again. But this one, The Futurists. So I believe the guy who wrote it is Peter Stiles, Butch Geis, I believe is how you pronounce it. And it was helped developed by the Brightwisers as well. This book is amazing. It's one of the best things I've read from anything I've gotten through Indiegogo. The art is so amazing, and the coloring throughout. You just end up stopping on every page and just admiring it. I love this loose style that is so detailed. There's so much energy and life in it. The writing is exactly how I like comic book writing to be. It's sort of cinematic in the sense that it's, you know, the dialogue just flows so naturally. Everyone has their own voice, and it's a real perfect comic book story. So the story is, there's this group of people who go to a magician's house to kind of, you know, get entertained, and some real magic takes place, and this character comes back from some other dimension or time or place, and there's also a side story about a guy. It's all set in the late 1800s. A guy in a platoon who's helping some guy dig up looks like, you know, like ancient ruins, and they're trying to find I guess the elixir of life, immortality, and they come across this demon character. You know, I don't know if I'm selling it now, but it really was an amazing read, and I will definitely be buying whatever comes out next from these guys. So yeah, whatever you think about Mitch Breitweiser and the fact that Red Rooster hasn't come out yet, Allegiance has seen the writing on the wall in the past. They've gotten proactive about it, gotten a distribution deal with Walmart. You were able to buy these online in crowdfund. I'm sure that will continue on in the future. They probably have an online store. They're that savvy. And yeah, check out this book, Futurists. This is the potential to be a really big thing. So yeah, comic books aren't dead. They're just going to have to change. The old ways, the direct market that we said couldn't be sustained with the tripe and rubbish that is the Marvel and DC and Image and IDW have been pumping out all these years. That's gone now, or it's on its last breath. But companies like Allegiance, Alterna, crowdfunded books, the Comicsgate books, they're all going to go ahead gung-ho. And if it's going to be more like that, then the future looks bright. All right, that's it from me. Cheers. Bye. Hi, I'm Michael Bancroft, writer and artist of The Lucent. Going on 5 years now, I've been passionately working on my magnum opus, a fantasy graphic novel that blurs the line between dreams and reality. My first book in the series, Waking Dream, introduces readers to the mysterious world of the Lucent, a place that on the surface looks not too dissimilar from the world you know, but where nothing is quite as it seems. It's a place where powerful enemies hide in plain sight, fighting ancient battles for control of the future. Here we meet Ella Forsyth, a young woman who by all accounts appears to be living a low-key life. But in her dreams, she's hiding a secret with the power to turn everything we know upside down. Sign up now to be notified by email when this campaign goes live, and you'll receive an exclusive postcard if you go on to back the book. For regular updates, follow me on Twitter at @TheLucentComic. Together, we can create something that's truly memorable. See you at launch.